Hello guys, and welcome to Whisky Wars. Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well, and today we're taking a trip to the Isle of Skye, back to Talisker. We've got the winner of the Skye and the Storm, the NAS battle for Talisker, and we're going to compare it to the 10-year, a more classic, higher rated Talisker, just to see which is better out of the two. So if you watched my earlier video on Talisker, you'll know that I get very peppery notes with Talisker. I do like it because it's a peatier version of the Island malts. Being an Isla fan, it's a light. It tastes like a light Isla. Or you could say it tastes like a more peaty island malt. But I get a lot of pepper in these whiskies, and I'm not a huge fan of that. So the Skye is, you do get peat, you do get smoke, although it is lighter forms of that. Very sweet on the nose. Very strong apple and pear notes in the Skye. To bring that light orchard fruit notes to it. You get a lovely balance between those sweetness of the sweetness and the sugars of the fruits, with coastal brine notes, almost salted fish, dried kipper, that sort of notes. And it brings a really nice balance between the two. I actually think with the Skye, it's not just the fruits that bring sweetness. You've perhaps got honey, maybe a touch of a maple syrup note in there. There is a wood note in there, not a strong one. Not a toasted oak or anything heavy. It's quite light. Maybe like a light sawdust aroma. Onto the 10. Okay. Bit deeper, a bit more heavy in its nose, a bit more full-bodied. You're getting the lighter orchard fruits that you get in the Skye, your apples and pears, but I think you're also getting red fruits in here. What red fruits, I don't know, it's quite hard to discern. But the sweetness is a bit more rich. Again, you get the salted fish notes, very coastal. Maybe the 10 might have a slight medicinal note to it that the Skye doesn't have. But you're getting a lot of similar notes to it. Salted kippers, dried fish, sea spray, bit of seaweed in the 10. That I didn't get seaweed in the Skye. Okay, to taste. Sweet initially, with quite a strong peppery finish, and that peat hits you midway through. So initially sweet, then a peaty savouriness, coastal elements, and then finishing quite prickly with the pepper. There's a stronger wood note to the taste than there was on the nose. I think perhaps that's adding to the prickliness of it as well. It's not just the pepper, but also the wood notes to it as well. Onto the 10. Far more pepper, a little less sweetness, which is surprising. On the nose I was getting a bit more of a deeper sweetness, more of a red fruit. The taste, it doesn't mirror that at all. I actually think you get more black pepper in on the taste, little less sweetness, quite a strong brine quality to the 10-year. Maybe those kippers are a little bit stronger. I certainly think the coastal elements are stronger on it as well. There is sweetness to it, but it's not as sweet as the nose. And a little bit more peaty than the Skye was. I can already tell I might surprise a few people with this review. Very peppery whiskies. Again, I've got to stress that if you're new to Talisker and you don't like pepper, I would actually recommend you give this brand a miss. There's a lovely sweetness to the Skye though. I've got to stress that. There is a really nice sweetness to it. I think the honey notes and the toffee notes, in addition to the light orchard fruits, it brings a more rounded sweetness. And I think it drowns a bit of the pepper out. Whereas the 10, you have the orchard fruits, but you don't really have the toffee or the honey notes in there. And I actually think the pepper note is a little stronger, so and less sweet. I actually think that the 10-year, the mouthfeel is a little bit thicker than the NAS, which you'd possibly expect. I think the NAS runs a little bit thinner than the 10-year. It certainly tastes a bit more developed and well-rounded, but I'm not sure if I prefer it. The flavours that are more developed in the 10, I don't think it adds to the whisky. The finish on the 10 is certainly longer than the Skye, that has to be said. It's peaty, it's very a long finish, salty, but a nice burnt sugar, a caramelised sugar on the aftertaste, which is really pleasant actually. I'd say the finish is a bit better than the taste is. The opposite is true with the Skye, because the taste is lovely and sweet, with a nice balance between those savoury coastal notes, and it takes the pepper well. In fact, the pepper actually adds to the drink with the Skye. It's not over-dominating like the 10-year is. The finish is certainly shorter on the Skye, that has to be said. It's a lot shorter, and I'd say it's opposite to the 10, where the taste is better than the finish, whereas with the 10-year I'd say the finish was better than the taste. It's a short finish, very thin, very spicy. It's a spicy finish to the Skye that doesn't last very long. The notes that you pick up on the nose and the taste don't transfer to the finish. I think the 10-year is a lot more consistent with that. Overall, I think Talisker is a good island malt. Certainly very affordable, very accessible. You regularly see these whiskies on offer. The 10 retails at a little bit higher than the NAS. Skye and Storm do. The Skye you can pick up around £25 in the UK, with the 10 higher at £35. I actually prefer the Skye to the 10, and it's cheaper. So this one is actually really quite easy to judge, and it surprised me because when I reviewed the Skye and the Storm, it was quite close. With the 10-year, I was expecting a lot more. I thought the extra age that the whiskey's gone through would maybe tone down the pepper notes and bring out a bit more of a sweetness to it, and it hasn't done that. Although the finish is really good on the 10 and a lot longer. But for the price increase that the 10 has, I would say go for the Skye every day. So today's winner, Talisker Skye.